All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 22 of the Wrestling Hypothesis podcast, here for your Saturday, June 13th, 2020. Hope you guys are all doing well, of course. I am the ABA. Joining me, as always, is Richard.
Hello, everyone.
Ricardo.
What's up, guys?
King Kenny.
King is back. Let's go.
Yeah, the king is back, yes. And the first lady of the show, the lovely Tara.
Hello, beautiful people.
Yeah, so as you guys know, business as usual, this podcast is available to listen to on various different podcast platforms out there, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Breaker, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. You'll want to give us a subscribe over on our YouTube channel to make sure you are kept up to date for any bonus content coming your way. And for those listening that have Instagram, we have actually gone ahead with our own official Instagram account. You know, another way for you guys to keep track of everything that goes on in the show. We post news items as you guys can be in the know with all the news in the wrestling world. And we even post snippets of the show on there from previous episodes. So you can follow us there if you look up The Wrestling Hypothesis, no spaces, and go ahead and give us a follow on there. If you're listening via Apple Podcasts, please be sure to give us a star rating, as well as some thoughts on what you think of our show. Any feedback, any praise, constructive criticism you think that we need to know about, please let us know. You can like our official page over on Facebook to keep up with the latest updates on the show, as well as leaving us a review on there if you so choose. And if you haven't done so already, you can check out older episodes using any of the aforementioned platforms, as well as visiting our website, anchor.fm/wrestling-hypothesis. A big shout out, speaking of Instagram, to Mr. Mark Quinn, who shared our story on IG praising his performance on Dynamite this past week, where he fought Cody for the AEW TNT Championship in an unsuccessful attempt, but he had a pretty good showing, so shout out to him for that. We're going to get into it with the news here, and I pass it off to Richard. Richard?
All right. So your top four of the news of this week, starting with the biggest news of this week, is as of this past Thursday, Bruce Pritchard is now head in charge of both SmackDown and Raw, and Paul Heyman is going back to being an on-screen talent. Not only this is a surprising move by WWE, this also puts all the people that Paul Heyman has been pushed for the last couple of weeks, such as Aleister Black, Apollo Crews, Andrade, just to name a few, all of their pushes are now being held in jeopardy. And also, as of this morning, it's been confirmed that the USA Network is not happy with this decision of Heyman being removed from being top head in charge of creative of Monday Night Raw.
Kenny took the words right out of my mouth.
Lord, he didn't say any words. It's Lord have mercy.
He didn't say any words, exactly.
God help us all, man. Shit.
Oh man.
Like this.
You mean like God? No, everyone, let us pray.
Yeah.
No. I meant exactly what I said. Exactly what I said is exactly what I mean. And I say that because I don't think God himself can even rectify this issue. I mean, it's done now.
Oh,
if you thought Raw sucked, just wait.
Just wait, exactly, because Bruce Pritchard has been in charge of SmackDown creative and all of its booking decisions pretty much since how long? Like at least
late last year.
Late last year. And that corresponds with the drastic drop in quality that SmackDown has suffered since moving to Fox. You know, the correlation there does add up, and SmackDown has been complete dog shit since moving to Fox. I don't recall a single great episode that they've had since moving to Fox in October last year. And Bruce Pritchard being in charge of creative around that same time really, it doesn't look well, it doesn't speak well on his ability to run the show. And so with the news now, reports of going around that he is now in charge of Raw, and he overtook Paul Heyman in that role. Raw, like Kenny said, if you think Raw was pretty garbage before this past week, just you wait till Bruce Pritchard that goes into full effect on booking Raw as well, as he's been doing SmackDown.
Yep. So the other news that's in the week, that according to Wrestling Inc., it's been revealed that there are brand new title designs in place for both the United States Championship and the NXT Championship. Now, the NXT Championship, They will have the same design, but will be bigger in size. However, the United States Championship will get a whole complete new design from head to toe, in which a lot of the wrestling fans, including myself, have been clamoring for a new design for the belt for many, many years.
I'm mad that they didn't put a new design for the tag team titles. Like, come on. You think United States needs a design? The tag team titles need more of a design.
Yeah.
Now,
I honestly don't like. I mean, I honestly don't feel like the U.S. title needs a redesign. That's not priority right now.
Wait, why? Why?
Because it's a good looking title belt. That's why.
The Intercontinental Championship, back when it was in the white belt, it was a good design, but they changed it anyway.
Right. But all I'm saying is this: relative to the other title belts that you have, you could have made a decision, right, to then, like Ricardo said, modify the penny-looking or the dime-looking titles instead of going the United States title route, because there's more chances of you messing that up than obviously messing up a title that already looks bad.
Yeah.
In the tag team titles.
I just want to say a new look is not going to change the status of that title being relevant.
There you go. That's all that matters in the end. The title can look, guys. The title can look like complete shit. It can literally be shit. The title, but if it doesn't mean a damn thing, why would I care?
Yeah,
I couldn't care less. I honestly couldn't care less about the design if I tried. But if I had to pick any title belt design to be redesigned, regardless of its importance and whether or not that will be changed before or after the design change, it probably would be either the U.S. title or the tag team belts, because those designs haven't really done a whole lot for me, honestly. But at the end of the day, I just want to see that those belts means something at the end of the day. And
yeah,
we're not going to get that we're not going to get that with these designs, with these redesigns.
I definitely agree with Ricardo on the tag team belts, because they look like 24-hour championship belts. And it's so bad. It looks so cheap. It looks like something I pick up from Dollar Tree. And, this is it.
All right. So now we're going to get into NXT Takeover in Your House that just passed. So one of the biggest matches in the show was Adam Cole against Velveteen Dream for the NXT title in a Backlot Brawl. Good match. Adam Cole retained, and Velveteen Dream can no longer challenge for the NXT Championship as long as Adam Cole is champion, right? So, speaking of that, we all thought that Velveteen Dream will be called up, but that certainly isn't the case, because according to a Ringside News, WWE, the main roster guys, has been on Velveteen's radar for quite some time, for like a while now. But both the higher-ups in both NXT and WWE made the call together and decided to keep Velveteen Dream in NXT for quite a while longer.
This is beautiful. And you know why it's beautiful? Because Velveteen Dream does not deserve to be called up to the main roster. Now, I'm calling the main roster a call-up for Velveteen Dream because of his actions that he's shown and the interest that he's shown in the main roster. So to him, it's an upgrade.
Yeah.
So if it's if it's an upgrade, I don't think he definitely deserves to be called up to the main roster, man. He's shown nothing really that makes me, believe that he can actually make it up there.
Yeah, like just stick to where you're at, right? He thrives in NXT. He's better in NXT than he would be in the main roster. I just don't want his character will be diminished entirely in the main roster. So just stick to where you're at. He could possibly he might make some either better noise than before, but for Velveteen Dream, just it's a good thing that they decide to make him stay in NXT.
Yeah, I personally feel like his character, if he was to go up to the main roster, would be like a comedic relief. Like it would be kind of like an Otis and it wouldn't be the serious character that trolls now. It would just be someone that's just a joke.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment, Tara. What your point made about Velveteen Dream being nothing but comedy relief. Absolutely, 100%. Velveteen Dream has that kind of character and that personality where it's an obvious ceiling where he to come up to the main roster. He would not be looked at as, knowing WWE and how they've booked their over-the-top characters from over the years and over the decades, really, thinking back to people like Goldust, for example, it's not going to work out the better for him. They never used Goldust, if we look back at recent history, all that effectively. He's always been comic relief at the end of the day. Never been a legit contender to any championship, to any title of significance, any meaningful storylines during his many decades on the main roster with WWE. So I don't think Velveteen Dream, as talented as he is, and he is one of the most talented superstar, male or female, in WWE, period, that they have on their payroll. And I don't think that's really going to make a huge difference in whether or not WWE is going to perceive anything different from him. Because at the end of the day, I just think they're always going to have that old mentality that has always stuck with them over the decades.
I agree. So,
and don't get me wrong, and just to add to that, Velveteen Dream, don't get me wrong, he hasn't been the same superstar, and we've touched on this before the past few weeks now. He hasn't been the same since coming back from injury back in February, I believe, back to NXT after suffering a big major injury that kept him out of action for a good 5-6 months. Before that, he was on a roll as the North American champion and all that. After dropping the belt and having to take a hiatus due to the injury that he suffered, you know, a lot of factors came into it that just hasn't been on his side. His momentum hasn't been there. I guess the 2-hour format hasn't really helped him in the long run. And, you know, general interest towards Velveteen Dream and his character, it hasn't really been there. And this is coming from someone who has been a huge proponent of his work. Always been a huge fan of the guy. So it's a shame that I'm feeling that way, and I'm sure a lot of you guys feel that same sentiment, but Velveteen Dream just hasn't been the same these past few months. That being said, though, I would not even dare to put him on the main roster because he is going to flounder there.
I agree. So the next top match in NXT TakeOver in your house was Karrion Kross with Scarlett in his corner against Tommaso Ciampa. This match between these two was very one-sided. Karrion Kross demolished Tommaso just by debuting a few weeks ago and back in May in NXT TV, and he beat Tommaso Ciampa within 6 minutes. Now, in terms of Kross,
Richard, you muted yourself.
Oh. So now, this past Wednesday, at the end of NXT, Karrion Kross and Scarlett was shown with a sands of, I call it the sands of time hourglass of Adam Cole possibly losing the NXT title to Kross. So my question to everyone here is that should Kross challenge for the NXT title this soon?
Yeah, I'm laughing because I thought we were gonna talk about this later. But fuck it, why not talk about it now? Why not talk about it now, right? Because you've already laid the gauntlet down. Okay. Okay, so first of all, let me preface my comments by saying Karrion Kross is a beast, right? Like you can see that he's talented, right? And a few weeks on the show, I stated that he's like a guy that has the look, the talent, and the entrance. He has everything. And then once he gets in the ring, you know, he's kind of lackadaisical. Like it doesn't feel like I'm believing in what he's doing in the ring, right? And that's not what I want to feel. That's not what I need for my potential NXT title holder. Because we all anticipate, you know, by his showing during the match against Tommaso Ciampa, we all anticipate this dude ain't losing. This guy ain't losing. He's walking. If he faces Adam Cole for the title, he's walking out the champion. Period. So the real question that I'm thinking to myself now is that, do I want to see Karrion Kross as the title holder? Do I want to see Karrion Kross as the champion? And the answer is no. Simply because he's like another Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? But full-time. Do I want to see that dominant guy? Like, do I want to see a dominant champion like that on NXT? I'm not ready for that, because I believe that NXT is a place where stars can actually, make a name for themselves. And you can't have a guy dominate like Karrion Kross, right? And then, be able to pass that off, right? Like easily as, okay, the next challenger to Karrion Kross would actually be a challenge for him, because he's dominated Tommaso Ciampa. Like, you see what he did in 6 minutes. Like, I don't want that to be the NXT champion. Like, I don't want that to be what we see of our NXT champion. So to me, personally, I don't want to see it, because quite frankly, I'm not ready.
I agree with Kenny on most facets, but I disagree with him about the Brock Lesnar standpoint, because we haven't seen that much about Kross in the WWE, so I need to see more from him in order for him to actually earn him to get a spot to get the NXT title. But I agree with Kenny. I don't want him to be champion yet, because I just want to see more to the table, what he brings. Like, I know what he did against Ciampa and against the other no name in the NXT. It is what it is. He's a dominant figure. He's very good, but I just feel like I need to see more from Karrion Kross. But his time will come to get the title, but it's not his time now.
I thought it was a good match. But I mean, I see your point on him not being ready to be a champion because it's too soon. But I mean, looking at the roster now, who else is there that we haven't seen already? And from my standpoint, is just that they're running out of storylines and they're running out of like interesting things that aren't repetitive. So I feel like from a business standpoint, to make it a little bit more interesting, I feel like that's just something that they're exploring. I mean, I don't know if he's going to really win the championship because it is too soon. And that's like, I think that's like a little bit of like a stretch. I mean, we'll have to see. But from my point of view, I think it's like they have nothing else that's like, we've seen all these feuds so far with all these relevant wrestlers that are at the top of the NXT. There is nothing right now that is like having me go like, I need to see this match. If I don't see this match, I will literally like, I will freaking cry. Like, there's nothing there that I'm going to say I need to pay money to see. Like, this is the match that I have to see today. Like, there's nothing, because we've seen all these storylines. We've seen, yes, they put on good matches, but it's like starting to get repetitive where it's like, I need something new. Like, you need to come up with something new. And I don't know if it's because like the past few months, it's because of the virus that things have been kind of like slowing down, where we haven't had talent coming up or, you know, showing out as much as they should. But I mean, there has been nothing recently that's been pulling any new, that I would say would pull new viewers to NXT.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, outside of the GOAT, Charlotte Flair, who has left, there really isn't much left. I mean, but think about it. The real reason why you have a problem with you know, why we have a problem with not wanting to see anything coming out of NXT is strictly because, well, quite frankly, their build has been shit. Think about it. Like, who the hell wants to see Karrion Kross versus Adam Cole? Who's interested in that? Like, is it take my money shit? Like literally every single takeover, right, has been take my money. You know, like the main events are usually, yo, take my money. I want to see that. But not with this. And why? Because he's been built up like Brock Lesnar. And I didn't stutter when I said that, Ricardo.
Okay.
That's right. He dominated
Did I stutter?
probably the best wrestler they have to offer in Tommaso Ciampa. Name somebody, hold up. Name somebody on NXT, Ricardo, that's actually better than Tommaso Ciampa in the ring. Outside of Johnny Gargano, like Johnny Gargano, probably maybe they're on the same level. It's like not Sasuke and Naruto.
Johnny Gargano as a wrestler, I'll pick Johnny Gargano over Tommaso Ciampa any day.
But Tommaso Ciampa,
Ciampa does dominate really well.
Exactly.
There's like something about how he does it.
See, Ricardo, here's the thing I want to point out, right? Because I want to address the point that you made. No one does dominate better than Tommaso Ciampa, just like Tara pointed out. Mm-hmm. If Karrion Kross was to face Johnny Gargano, right, and beat him in under 6 minutes, we'd believe that. We would sit here and say, okay, yeah, it's Karrion Kross, it's Johnny Gargano. Johnny's not that kind of guy that goes all out. Like he's not dominant like a Tommaso Ciampa. But it was Tommaso Ciampa that he dominated like that. And there's a difference between that. And that's what makes this interesting, because you see a guy like Tommaso Ciampa being dominated by Karrion Kross, and you sit there and say, well, who's gonna beat him? Nobody. Like who's gonna beat Karrion Kross? He's essentially right now, they're booking him as a Brock Lesnar of that entire division. And there's nothing you can do about it.
All right, before anyone else continues, let me just give my 2 cents on it. So, for me, I was all ready to say that he shouldn't be fighting for the top title on the brand right now. But as I think about it more and more, over time, I am actually in favor of him going after the NXT title and Adam Cole. And here's why. The dude has been booked like $1 million since coming over to NXT. He's one of few I actually care about and am genuinely interested in right now, out of anybody in that yellow brand. But now I think, who the hell else is there higher in the pecking order and full of momentum at the moment that has a bigger claim to be next in line? Just going back to what Tara said, the well run's pretty dry if you think about it. Who else?
Agreed.
Oh, word? No. You want answers? You want answers?
I would say, like,
listen. The answer is simple. You don't need to think about it. Okay, it's Keith Lee. And I know, yeah, he got a championship.
But then they should have taken off his.
No. They should have taken off his.
Real.
First of all, guys, time out. Let me say this, okay?
Man, off his
all right.
I'm with Kenny on this one. So
there is absolutely nothing wrong with Keith Lee versus Adam Cole. The reason is because you don't have a legitimate threat to take Keith Lee's title.
That's right.
No one is gonna take his title yet, so why not pit those two together, fight each other, and then hold up, and then rebuild the whole fucking division. Just rebuild that shit.
Well, let me ask you, how would they go about it if they were to book Keith Lee and Adam Cole to get in a feud? How would they do this? Because they're both champions.
Right.
How would it be? Would it be a champion versus champion?
Yeah, winner take
all. Winner for title unification.
Yeah, no, not a unification title match, but a title for title.
Like title for title, like they did with Cena and Rollins at SummerSlam, title for title.
Exactly.
Well, no, they actually
Joe
the winner would take all belts.
Exactly. No, the winner takes all. Right.
Winner takes all.
Like, listen, think about it, guys. Okay, think about
That's
it.
Not interesting.
This is a position that NXT has never been in, right? Like, we've never seen. Oh shit, the well runs dry. We've never ever said that about NXT. But now, okay, so if you have this problem, right, of certainly trying to make new stars, right, because I mean, it's kind of productive of a developmental brand that they'd have problems creating new stars, but they do, right? So here's what you do. What I said, Listen, it doesn't matter who has a title and who doesn't have a title. That's the reason why you're in this fucking, situation to begin with. Okay? You have to do what makes sense. You can't tell me that Keith Lee does not make sense.
Well, when he's holding the North American Championship, he damn well doesn't make sense.
I'm sorry?
Let me tell you why.
When he's holding a secondary title belt, maybe it's just me. I've never been too fond. I've never been too fond of having mid-card champions fighting the world champions and having it be.
We'll get used to it. Get used to it because it's been happening for decades now.
All right, let me tell you.
It's been happening for years.
Let me tell you my standpoint. From a business standpoint, that doesn't make sense because you already have storylines that are stale. So to put your two big storylines together just as one whole thing and then just take away from like the whole like mid-card division, it doesn't make sense. Like I feel like in order for that to happen, Keith Lee should like lose his title in like some kind of way that doesn't like really necessarily disqualify his like credentials, because taking that title is a storyline on NXT.
Because let me tell you, I agree with Tara. Let me tell you all something. One, they do Keith Lee and Adam Cole. They do title-for-title unification. Winner gets all. I guarantee it. Whoever comes out of it, the North American Championship is going to be a complete afterthought.
No, I disagree with that.
But also, it doesn't make sense. Hold on.
Yes, it will be.
Wait, let him finish. Hold on. Let him finish.
Oh.
Hold on.
The North American. When have we seen an instance of the secondary title in these instances being paired with the world title and they actually came out of it looking good?
But let me say, okay.
Wait, hold on.
Just for the aesthetic of holding two belts at the same time.
Let me
Tara,
add
go ahead. I gotta say this. Go ahead, Tara. Go ahead.
Let's be real. Does it make sense for a mid-carder to go after a mid-card title against the champion and win?
Doesn't make sense.
Does it make sense?
You kind of worded that a little differently, but
yeah, fix that.
Wait, does it make sense for Keith Lee to go after Adam Cole and win?
No, I know what she's saying. Are you saying
is that
Adam
what you're
Cole?
saying?
It doesn't make sense for Adam Cole to go after?
It doesn't make sense for a mid-carder to literally beat the champion.
What?
Whoa.
What?
Wait.
Wait.
Time out.
Oh, you're funny.
I'm saying
You're
something
funny.
right
Tara,
now. Hold
Tara,
on.
are you saying wait, Ricardo, one sec. Tara, are you trying to say that it doesn't make sense for the world champion to go after the mid-card champion?
No, I'm saying it does not make a mid-card. It does not make sense for some mid-carder to go up against the freaking champion for the freaking title, because for him to have the title, this guy's your top guy. You're literally gonna have a mid-carder just beat him and just take the title and be like, yeah, I did it, you guys. Like it doesn't. It
no.
See.
Kenny, let me get this. Hold on.
Okay. Go ahead.
Kenny, I'm backing you up 100%. I agree with you completely. Okay, so
yes,
Abba, you feel that the North American title is going to be devalued if Keith Lee fought Adam Cole for the winner take all match, correct?
It's going to be it's going to be an afterthought.
Here's why you're wrong.
If they go that route.
Here's why you're wrong. Right? Let's say hypothetically that match happens, right? And Adam Cole wins, hypothetically, right? Do you think Adam Cole would devalue the North American title? Because last time I checked, when he was North American title, that shit was in the bag. That shit at the time.
Yeah, because he was holding the one belt, and that was his only focus.
I'll let you speak. He held down the North American title for like a minute, and at one point, it was the best title in the show at a small point. Right now, he's elevating two titles at the same time as the headliner for the NXT brand. If I want the headliner of the NXT brand dominating two titles, I will want that. Did you have a problem when Seth Rollins won the WWE title and
the United States?
And the United States title? Did you have a problem with that? Did he devalue the United States title? No. Did he devalue the WWE title? No. Because Kenny is right that NXT has never been in a predicament before. So what NXT has to do, they're putting all their cards into the table. right?
Okay.
Now,
what did Rollins do with the title when he won the U.S. title?
Hold up, no, because you're comparing. You're pretty much saying that like they're gonna devalue the North American title, like they devalue the United States title. Similar.
It'll
to
be
what,
in the guys. It'll be put to the.
No.
It'll be put to the side. The NXT
No, it
title
won't,
will
you know
always take
why?
precedence
You know
because
why?
it's the
Here's the
world title
difference.
he's holding.
No, it won't, because you know why? Triple H is running the show. Triple H knows how to upgrade a title, no matter who the title holder is. I'm not.
Well,
sleeping
okay,
on
let's
Triple
be
H.
okay. Let's pull the plug on Triple H running the show right now because honestly, let's look
That's
at
a huge
NXT
difference.
right now.
Wait,
Has anything been
let her finish.
interesting right now that you really care to see?
No. I'm not giving you that because of the it's because of the quarantine epidemic. I'm telling you right now.
But hold up.
I'm
That's
just
a
saying.
factor.
But hold up. If even if the quarantine isn't here, NXT will still have a tough time. So Tara, you do have a point.
It
Exactly.
hasn't. Right now,
The
they've been
storylines have not
struggling
been
with
all
this
that intriguing.
2-hour time period.
But
Yeah.
let's
They're suffering.
not act like we didn't anticipate this would happen. We
That's
knew
also
this was
true.
gonna happen. Okay,
That's also
this
true.
was
Yes.
one of the fears that we had that shit, NXT's 2 hours now, every single week.
Every single week.
And then
Yep.
going back, let's be real. NXT is the place for new stars. Literally new stars. Meaning they have no name coming in to NXT. They make their name. Raw and SmackDown, they already have established names that are on there. They have a bigger roster where it's like, okay, like this matchup is more interesting. What my point is, from what I said, it doesn't make sense for a mid-carder to literally go against Adam Cole and win against him to get the freaking mid-card title. Was
Okay,
that they don't have any relevance to go against your top person and beat them.
But it's Keith Lee.
see, hold up. Ricardo,
No, but
Ricardo,
I'm
Ricardo,
saying
hold
if
up.
whoever the champion is, you're going to have some mid-carder try to beat this guy to get the title for the mid-carders back?
But hold up though. No one is saying Keith Lee's gotta win. No one's saying
not
Adam
saying
Cole
Keith-
has to win either. Okay,
Win.
listen.
Both go for all.
Exactly. The point that I was trying to make is that you've got to buy time. Time is the most essential thing in NXT right now.
Yeah, and that's the
You've
thing.
got to buy. Like you don't
Yeah.
have time, right? You don't have time. Like they really don't have any time right now because they've all been booked into a corner, right? There's no new matchups that they had. They need time, and that's the whole point of this. Like throw everyone a bone. Ooh,
Like-
title for title. Ooh, that seems fun. That looks interesting. I'll watch that. And then it takes your whole mind off of a division that's actually failing right now, right? And gives you a chance to build. That's why I said you need time to build up the division again. You need
I
time.
disagree
to be
with
able to-
that only because it's like I feel like once that happens and you have that build up to that, once whoever wins comes out, whatever that event is, I feel like it's going to show even more how lackluster.
But hold up.
division is.
You're anticipating that there has to be a winner. It doesn't have to be a winner.
What are you getting at?
I'm saying that even though it's a winner take all match or whatever the case may be, it doesn't have to be a winner.
Yeah, I see
That
what he's
doesn't
getting.
have to be a winner.
Because the thing is,
I just need the only important thing that
I
I
just need
just
a good
need right now
match.
is time. If I'm NXT, I need time to be able to build my fucking division because there's 2 divisions right now that are lackluster. I need even if let's throw that title for title out the window for a bit. Let's say it's Karrion Kross that wins, right? If Karrion Kross wins, who the hell is challenging him? Nobody. There's nobody. So you're booked into a corner there. So you need time, and that's what I'm saying. Time is your best friend right now, and you have to get enough of it so that you can build up your divisions again.
And plus, not only that, we just finished a takeover. The next takeover is not even until August. So we have 2 months and a half to build up for this shit to happen if it actually happens. So I'm with Ken on the time thing. I'm with Kenny on this one. Time is key when it comes to this, as well as how it's going to be booked properly into making us, the fans, get into this story that's going to possibly is going to happen.
in addition, in terms of time, right? You need time to build up the stars and to build up the division. We this past episode on NXT, who's going after Keith Lee? That would be Finn Balor.
Yep.
Low key.
No, not low key. He said it.
Oh, okay.
He said it.
Okay, cool. Finn Balor wants the North American title, right? So Abba, Kenny brings up Keith Lee, right? If he's still North American champion, right? But what if? Because we obviously know Finn Balor is like low key changed his character as a somewhat of a mercenary to go after everyone one by one, right? But he's right now building the North American division, low key by himself. He just fought Damian Priest this past takeover, and he's going after now Keith Lee. Finn Balor, a worthy opponent for Keith Lee, will upgrade the North American title.
Because it's Finn Balor.
Because it's Finn Balor. It's Finn Balor. So time is building slowly but surely. It's making Kenny's point. Time is coming. And you have a big time star in Finn Balor that now wants the North American title.
We're not saying that the North American title is irrelevant, or we're not saying any of that.
Abba said that.
Keith Lee
Abba
shouldn't.
said that.
I said it would be irrelevant if they go the case of Keith Lee and Adam Cole. That's what I said. If they do Finn Balor and Keith Lee moving forward, I don't think it won't be it won't be no longer irrelevant.
Listen, they ain't nothing. Hold up, Ricardo. I just want to address that point. There's nothing. Yeah. There's nothing that's going to be lackluster if Keith Lee and Adam Cole were in the ring together.
Nothing.
Okay.
No,
fighting
we're not
for the title.
That's not my point. I'm saying the titles should not be in the same match together, only because it's taking away from a storyline. One, they need that storyline.
Well, what storyline though?
Exactly.
What storyline?
What storyline do you want to
Finn Balor and Keith Lee. Did you not just say that?
Yeah, no, you guys just got done saying Finn Balor and Keith Lee.
Hold on. I said Finn Balor has his eyes on the North American.
Well, would that not be irrelevant?
Hold up.
Guys,
there's no storyline right now. That's what we're trying to say. Okay, so there's nothing to protect yet.
Let them build to it. They already planted the seeds.
Have two titles that someone needs to protect. Why would you take away two? Like, why would you make two storylines into literally one? Like, that takes the relevance away from every other match of the night.
Because NXT is irrelevant. That's why. They're irrelevant.
But you can't say that from a business standpoint. You can't just say that. You can't just put it towards one thing and then say everything else is
compared to where they were. They were irrelevant. They're irrelevant now.
NXT been a downgrade this year.
You need something.
I know, but I'm saying but from their standpoint, like, why are you going to take away from two storylines that could possibly be okay and just fuse it and just make everything else relevant?
One amazing storyline? Yeah, I'd rather take that one amazing storyline than two.
But then it's like you're asked out after that. What are you going to do after that? Who are you going to bring after that to go against whoever the winner is?
You would have had time at that time. You would have had time to create at least some sort of paper trail to have your championship holders fight.
Well, let me ask you, what's preventing them from doing the exact same thing if they do Karrion Kross and Adam Cole heading into Takeover?
Because Karrion Kross is a dead end. Karrion Kross is a dead end.
No, because if Keith Lee loses his title if he was to go against Finn Balor and Keith Lee loses his title, Keith Lee is that force that can go against freaking Karrion Kross.
Who?
What?
Aren't you the one that just said a mid-carder shouldn't be beating a champion?
Well, he is.
I mean,
well, if we go by your case, man, he would be the current mid-card champion. That's what we're basing it off of.
Right. So if he loses his mid-card title, that means he's still a mid-card. No?
That was not the point that I made. I said it doesn't make sense for a mid-carder to beat your champion. I feel like if you gain the championship you showed that you could do well, then it's on to the next challenge, which would be the championship. But for you to never gain the mid-card champion, but you're going against the champion, you have to somehow beat the champion to get the mid-card title. That just doesn't make sense to me.
No offense to you guys.
Why is, okay, let's think about this as levels. Why does someone from the beginning have to face the final boss to prove I'm a great mid-carder, or this is where I'm at? Like, it doesn't make
because you're looking at Keith Lee as the beginning.
I'm not looking at Keith Lee. I'm talking about someone who's literally coming into NXT. Does it make sense for another person like Karrion Kross?
Like how long?
Wait, who are you talking about? Karrion Kross in terms of the beginning?
Oh my God, I'm talking about. Okay.
Dude, she's talking generally.
I'm talking about general. I'm not talking about freaking Keith Lee.
But that's not what's happening here, though.
Yeah.
I'm saying in your situation that you are putting out there, that you are all like vouching for, right?
Right.
I'm saying whoever the winner of that is, another mid-carder, another face that is going to have to face them, it does not make sense for you to say, all right, this new star should go against the champion for the mid-card title. It does not make sense to me. Why are you having your top guy being defeated by some new face in NXT that you just want to make a mid-carder?
Hey, look, I don't have all the answers clearly, okay? But here's what, like, you guys are playing. You guys are playing checkers. You guys are looking at the next move.
Like,
I don't give a shit about the next.
You're looking at the next move. That's the thing too.
No.
Yes, you are. You're saying it buys time.
Hold up. Let me talk. Time out. I'm looking at this
is a great debate.
from I'm looking at this from 5, 6, 10 months down the road. Okay, and I'm saying the only, like, NXT, the champ, you're looking at this from, okay, yeah, this guy needs to beat that guy. It doesn't make sense that this guy beats that guy, because if he does, then a new contender that comes in, it doesn't make sense that the champion loses to that guy, because you're thinking too much. Stop. It's not about who. It's about 5 to 10 months from now. Do I have a good, fresh storyline, right, from an established star, right, that I can say, okay, we got, the Triple H can tell, we got 5 to a year storyline worth that we're going to do with you. They don't have that right now.
How is Keith Lee versus Adam Cole going to buy you 5 to 10 months?
Because
it's still a 2-month time span.
No, not if you do this right. If you do this, listen, storylines on the main roster have been lasting how long on average?
Months.
For an example,
come on.
Rollins,
you are literally, but for those 5 to 10 months, you are literally taking up. You're taking.
No, I'm not saying
storylines. Literally,
I'm not saying their storyline has to be 5 to 10 months. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, right, that they need a good, 2 months of squabble, right?
Yeah.
Get them to do their program, right? But right now, we need some guys that's to step up. That's the main important.
But no one's gonna focus on those guys.
No. I disagree with you. It's like this. While it's pretty much what Kenny's saying. While
if you beat
Adam
Tommaso
Cole,
Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, make a name for yourself.
What about other names like that could step up their game in terms like a Dream, a Balor, a Damian Priest to a lesser degree. If they
Dominic Dijakovic.
There you go. If you Pete Dunne, my man Pete Dunne, and like if you bring up those names while Keith Lee and Adam Cole are fighting, they raise their level of cachet. So whenever the winner of that champion versus champion match wins, the next person's in line, because you have a myriad of guys that stepped up their game. So basically, the challenger will always be there due to the likely build that's been going down between Keith Lee and Adam Cole while that goes down. So I see what Kenny's saying. The competitors will line up just in time when the match between possibly Keith Lee and Adam Cole will finish. They will be ready next in line, pretty much. I get what Kenny's saying.
No, it doesn't make sense.
It does.
It only makes sense if you have an equal standpoint. If both freaking champions, if both titles weighed the same amount of relevance, it would make sense. But they don't. One is clearly more important than the other one.
Exactly. I don't see even NXT booking them as the same level of importance.
But you did bring up a relevant point. Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole would be a great match.
Okay. But what I'm saying is like we're talking about two what's it called? Two divisions. The North American title and the NXT title both severely lacking, right? If I have my champion as North American as in Keith Lee and my other champion in Adam Cole face each other at the same time for a lengthy build, I got my other superstars from both divisions lining up to step up their game, right? Ready in line.
Well,
how does that make sense?
No, I'm telling you how. We're
gonna see their inspiration just come out in human form and say, "I want to do this."
I'm talking about as their cachet grows. As their cachet grows, they'll be next in line for that particular title that to go after. If Keith Lee wins, beats Adam Cole, and Finn Balor comes in and faces Keith Lee, would you guys be mad about that?
You said
here's the thing. Tara, let me go. Here's the thing. You guys do bring up an interesting point when you say that. Building up superstars and their cachets along the way, justifying their claims to be the world champion, the North American.
We just talked about Dream on how he needs to step up his game.
Okay.
And other stars. So let them step up their game as their rivalry finishes. They're already ready.
Listen, for Dream, for the time being, as far as I'm concerned, he's done. Adam Cole's a champion. He's not going to get another title shot. That being said, WWE is looking to, if you guys have been paying attention to the reports, WWE has slowly but surely been calling up names from NXT to fill out Raw and SmackDown. They already did it with Matt Riddle. They already did it with Dominik Dijakovic. We haven't seen him yet, but they will be coming very soon.
And Matt Riddle debuts next week.
Who's to say that they're not going to be doing that with more superstars from NXT? Who's to say they don't bring up Keith Lee sooner than later, once he drops the belt?
Listen, all I'm saying is that the thing is you're acting like these superstars don't have like the it factor, but I feel like there is only but so much that is in their control. So if they are shitty, it is because, I mean, it's what is given. It's not really on their end, but I would say it's more so on creative's end. I still think you could build up stars while still keeping the two titles separate and, you know, creating storylines. And I feel like it kind of serves as an importance to have them as being separate things, because NXT is for creating new stars. It doesn't make sense for your top star to literally hold the mid-Carter belt. Like, the mid-Carter belt is kind of like you're halfway through graduation, and then championship is, I graduated, I'm a great champion, like, I'm a great wrestler now.
And to add to Tara's point, just from what I've seen with recent history, from the double champions we've had over the years and over the decades in wrestling history, when have we ever seen a case of the secondary championship that they're holding alongside the world title really elevated during their title run? Like, legitimately elevated.
And y'all
we
are
didn't see that
acting
with Seth Rollins 5 years ago. The U.S. title he dropped literally a month later.
But y'all are acting like this man Adam Cole can't carry two titles.
That's what I'm saying. You're sleeping on him.
Like, this man is on another level.
What I'm thinking is, why am I going to go for a mid-card title if I can beat the champion for the actual championship?
Because Adam Cole is that kind of dude. That's why. You really think he'd fight a champion without his title being on the line too? Like, if you told Adam Cole, hey Adam, listen, I'll give you a chance.
But they're gonna have to be on the same level as Adam Cole. Like,
but he is on the same level as Adam Cole. Well, he's not like, but Keith Lee is that dude. Let's not act like he's a scrub.
So that's not what I'm talking about. For him to have two titles you're going to have someone that is at that caliber to get that title. Because let's be real, once Keith Lee or Adam Cole loses the title, you don't want to see that recycled again.
I see that. I see that point.
I mean, think about it though. Champions usually have rematches. So, I mean, look, if you're gonna get in, my thing is this: do what gives you the most time. I don't care what it is. I don't care how unpopular it is. I don't care what the hell you have to do, man. Just get me to give a shit about NXT again. That's my main point. I don't care what you.
Point. I would like to see Pete Dunne go against the championship.
He's a mid-carder too.
But he was champion.
He was.
That would be an interesting match.
Come on, man. He's a mid-carder.
It would be interesting.
All right. Abba.
Okay. Richard, actually, I think there was one more match to go over in NXT Takeover.
Yes. Okay. So the main event of NXT Takeover in your house was a triple threat match with Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai. This was the main event, and it was a good match. And at the end, we have been crowned a new NXT Women's Champion in Io Shirai. Now, since she's now the new champion, my question to everyone here: since they put Charlotte in NXT, and now since she's back on the main roster, did Charlotte's Flair run in NXT work out in the end?
Of course.
I'm going to start with this.
Abba will go first.
Thank you.
Whoa.
No, Kenny goes first.
No, it's always been Abba and then Kenny.
It's always been me. Let's be honest. Now.
Whoa. Let's get something straight.
You just never noticed it only because Abba usually speaks first and then you go.
Hold up. Abba does not count, and here's why he doesn't count. Because he runs the show. Okay?
Exactly.
All right?
But that doesn't change him from going
No.
I still run the show.
This changes. Listen. This format changes everything. Technically speaking, Richard gives us, like, if you're controlling the segment of the show, Richard gives us thoughts first, and then to me. No. And then to me.
Okay, you know what? Just to save time, just to save time, I will hand it off to Kenny.
Go, Kenny.
See, respect your elders. That's rule number one.
You are so rude.
Okay.
He's not rude.
Yes, he is. You
listen,
both
boy
are.
alone.
It's whatever.
Listen,
no, it's not rude if I eventually gave it to him. It's whatever.
Look, Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Okay? If you want the crown, all you just got to do is ask.
No one wants your big head, Kenny.
But listen, I'll be damned if I give up my crown to somebody. You
don't
gotta
have a
fight me
crown.
for it. You gotta
don't
fight me
have a
for it.
crown.
Yes, I do.
You don't have a crown.
Okay. Now, back to the main point.
Talk to the GOAT, boy. Talk to the GOAT.
Of course it worked. You'd be crazy to think it didn't work. Of course it worked.
That's right.
I mean, think
So,
about
Kenny,
what this
what are your thoughts of having Charlotte Flair run and NXT go down?
What are my thoughts?
Yeah, like
he's getting to it, dude.
He was getting to it. He got this. It's the GOAT
Kenny.
Flair.
I mean, guys, you were watching, same as me, right? You saw everything she did, right? In the short amount of time she became NXT Women's champion, right? Put the whole division on notice, right? Dominated for the short time while she was there, and the right person went in that triple threat match. Io Shirai was the right person to win in that match. Okay? I am, however, disappointed that Charlotte didn't put her over. From my standpoint, I think Charlotte should have, taken the pin. But I do understand that from from an optic standpoint that it's not, it's not what you want the face of your division to look like. But I think it worked beautifully. While she was there, ratings were steady. I think she did a very good job. And for what it's worth, I think if you tell me right now, is the division better or worse off had Charlotte not been involved in either way. I think the division is better off because she was involved in that. And now the whole division is on notice. Io had to step her game up. That was the best Io Shirai I've seen. It doesn't get better than that. And then Rhea Ripley looked pretty good too, pretty damn good too, right? I mean, can I say that it was all attributed to Charlotte? I mean, she was a huge reason why. So I think from definitely from not only an optic standpoint, but from what we've seen in the ring thus far, yeah, that was the best, division, the best version of NXT that in terms of the female division that we've seen in a while.
Goat Flair.
Oh, here we go.
Goat Flair.
Kenny, you're done, Kenny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Goat Flair.
Good. So
I'm next. I got love for you, Abba, but I'm next. That's the order. You said it.
You know what? I will give it to you, Ricardo. Go ahead, because then I could just wipe you all out with what I think. Go ahead.
Nigga, please.
Ricardo, just go. Ricardo,
Anyway, Goat Flair
Just
did
go,
her
dude.
thing in NXT. She did her thing in NXT. Starting ever since she won that Royal Rumble. Ever since she put the whole women's division on notice. Because of that, by her winning the NXT title, it elevated Io Shirai's game, to some degree Rhea Ripley's game, and it made everyone in the women's division work much more harder than before, right? All of us as fans looked at the NXT women's division differently than before if it wasn't for Charlotte, right? Io Shirai has never been this more hype in the past if it wasn't for Charlotte. Rhea Ripley wouldn't get this much shine. No. I'm saying, Richard. I'm saying it would be higher. It didn't go higher as what if it was for Charlotte. That's what I'm saying, right?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm being rude. Go ahead.
It's okay. But Io Shirai's game's elevated than before because of Charlotte, and the match was done right because of Io Shirai winning the title. She deserved the title more than anybody in that division, in that match. I'm happy that she won it. I'm happy that that Charlotte did her thing in NXT because it brought our attention solely on the women's division more than any other division in NXT. I think she did her thing.
Okay. Now. My honest opinion, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. It did not work out for me. And here's why. Here is why. Charlotte seemed like an interesting choice to win the Women's Royal Rumble match at the time. Some of us were upset about it initially over the decision because it really didn't make much sense. We thought Shayna Baszler was going to win that match and that she needed the win, but they went with Flair instead. From then on, one of our big talking points that we touched on the show pretty much until WrestleMania came around was Charlotte in NXT and the possibility of her in NXT and how it can elevate the division, how it can bring interest back to the women's division. We can all agree to that. She had a thing with Bianca Belair for a bit there, which honestly did not go anywhere. And yeah, you could say that she was elevated initially after that match they had on NXT that 1 week. But did anybody really notice about Bianca Belair? And what the hell is Bianca Belair doing right now? She got called up, but I don't really see her anywhere, nor do I see her as a big deal, any more of a big deal after working with Flair. Furthermore, she went on to beat Rhea Ripley for the belt at WrestleMania in a pretty damn good match from what I remember. But hindsight being 2020, looking back on it now, it did not do anything for Rhea Ripley. I don't think Rhea Ripley got elevated one bit from that match with Charlotte. Yeah, she wrestled at WrestleMania against one of the top names, male or female, in WWE. But her momentum did not need her losing that night. No one was going to care about Rhea Ripley more because she lost. That would have been the case if she had won and beat Charlotte at WrestleMania. That is how you establish a star. But that didn't happen. And Ripley hasn't been the same since. And you can't argue with me on that. Rhea Ripley has never felt like less of a big deal since
Agreed.
WrestleMania.
Agreed.
And we were all talking about elevating stars in the division in NXT, right? So let me ask you guys this. Who did she directly elevate to the next level, to the point where we noticed? Who did she directly elevate? She fought Mia Yim that one episode, from what I remember. One sec. You'll wait your turn. She fought Mia Yim that one episode.
Nigga, please.
Good match, but did it really elevate Mia Yim one bit?
Go ahead.
I'm already going. But did it really elevate Mia Yim one
Hurry
bit?
up!
I don't see her as a bigger deal before and after working with Charlotte. There's not a single difference to me.
Who is not a big deal?
Mia Yim.
Okay.
And that leads us to this past TakeOver event, the triple threat match. Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, and Charlotte Flair in the main event, where Io Shirai won the championship, not by pinning Charlotte, though, by pinning Rhea Ripley, who I will give Kenny credit for bringing that up. He was definitely right on that. And the fact that Rhea took the fall, her momentum went even further down the drain after that stupid decision. And now we hear reports of WWE keeping Charlotte on the main roster once again because she is needed there. So her time in NXT is over, at least for right now. So Io can't even say that she got the rub from beating Charlotte or even working with her. Because as far as I'm concerned, the real rub would have been pinning the champion, pinning Charlotte Flair. That didn't even happen. I'm not going to – now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to blame that on Charlotte. It wasn't her call to whether or not she was the one being pinned. I'm sure of it. It was WWE's call. That did not help, though. So just like with others I've mentioned, Io did not get elevated because of her. She is a bigger deal. We are all saying she's a bigger deal because she won the NXT Women's Championship in that match. So from everything I gathered, everything, Charlotte unnecessarily won the Women's Royal Rumble match, unnecessarily beat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, who has really not felt the same since the loss, did not directly elevate anyone down in NXT. The ratings were decreasing while she was down there. And don't get me wrong, I am not putting the blame. I see what you're doing, Kenny. I am not putting the blame solely on her. I'm not. Because that wouldn't be fair.
Wait, hold up. Time out. I know. Tara, please.
No.
Please.
I'm gonna let
He said something. He said something
I wasn't even done.
that I have to correct that. You said the ratings were declining? No.
Because of Charlotte?
I got the ratings right here, bro. As a matter of fact, in one of those times, they actually beat AEW. Yeah.
What episode was that?
Let's see. I got it right here. You know what, Tara? Go. I'll deal with them later. Once I gather all my thoughts, from these numbers, I'll go at them.
Kenny, we got this. We got this, bro.
I didn't even finish. Let me just continue.
Wait. Let him finish.
Look, but I'm just saying, you think I'm not blaming Charlotte solely for the ratings drop. I'm not. On average, I'm saying. Because that wouldn't be fair to her. But you would think that interest would be higher, not lower, because she is down there holding the title and supposedly getting people to care at all. And she did not put over anyone by beating her this past TakeOver show. You can't even say Io Shirai got a huge rub from her because she didn't pin Charlotte. So just to close off my argument and my stance, it didn't help NXT, and it was a waste of time.
What I'm gonna say is, I'm gonna say I'm right, because let's rewind. Didn't I say that she is only a temporary thing? she is not going to be there permanently.
We were the only people that said this.
That was not going to happen. I knew it.
We were the only people
and didn't
that
I just
said
say, like, the previous show, she's going back to the main roster? Did I not say that? I knew this was gonna happen. But let me say, I feel like it is 50-50. I will say a yes and a no for what she did in NXT. I don't think she held that much of a relevance in NXT, like, as far as, like, uplifting, like, the women's roster. But what she did was hold it down during this quarantine and made it somewhat watchable and somewhat like, okay, like I can look at the women's division because Charlotte is there I know that I'm going to get some kind of decent match with Charlotte. But however, she didn't do what she was supposed to do, which was elevate the stars as far as making new stars. The point of her being there, her whole entire existence there was to create new female stars. And she was only there for like a few months. So from a few months, you cannot create new stars. You can have people step up their game a little bit, but it's not, I don't see anyone that I want to see face Io Shirai right now that I think is relevant enough to go up against her. Charlotte was supposed to be there to do that, and she didn't. She was only there for like a few months. And like I said, she held it down for the quarantine, but it wasn't for the initial purposes of WWE, but it worked out for them because if they didn't have her during quarantine, NXT would have been even worse.
NXT would have been worse. I think they would. I agree with that. They would have been worse off. I just don't think it was worth it in the end.
Listen,
Okay.
you can't have your cake. Hold on. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say, yeah, it was a great thing that they did that, but it didn't.
Oh no. I am saying that only in the stance that they wasted a Rumble win essentially, and they wasted losing Rhea Ripley's momentum. That's what I'm saying.
A Rumble win.
I disagree about that Rumble win.
How did they waste a Rumble win?
How they wasted that?
Because Shayna Baszler should have won.
No, because guess what? Shayna Baszler would have lost to Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
We all know that.
So that would have been a waste too, right?
Listen, they would have gone about this many different ways.
They won't. No, they won't, man. Because think about it. From this standpoint, you said a lot of shit. Okay, a lot of stuff that I'm gonna let slide.
There's a lot of stuff that needed to be said.
Are you gonna let it slide because you agree with it?
No, because it's just too much to get into. Okay, if I start nitpicking right now, we'd be here fucking 2 hours. But
and I'm not gonna say anything yet.
But here is where I disagree with you, and it's about the ratings. Okay, the ratings were steady when Charlotte was there, especially in the month of
May.
Okay, in the month of May. Yeah, in the month of May, they had their steadiest rating ever.
But did it beat AEW? Did it beat AEW?
No, they didn't eclipse AEW. Okay, but they came. Hold up. But
continue, Kenny. 1 sec.
Hold up. But they came very, very close. Very close. Okay, it's like 5,000, difference between the people that watched AEW 1 week and the people that watched NXT that same week. So it's not that big of a gap anymore, guys. Okay. They were up there in ratings. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about when you say it was declining. It was not declining. If you're comparing that number to the first show they had when they went 2 hours, yes. But same goes for AEW too. Okay. So, but if you're comparing them solely to AEW when Charlotte Flair was there, they were fucking close, neck and neck. Okay. So don't give me that bullshit about how the ratings are declining. No, don't even go there, bro. Don't even.
I wanna say something about
because I didn't get a chance to speak.
Go ahead, Richard.
From my stance in all of this, did Charlotte elevate the women's division to create new stars? No.
I was gonna bring that up. Now, excuse me.
No. I'm gonna talk because I didn't get a chance to say my opinion yet.
Okay, go ahead, man.
In terms of Charlotte, she did not create new stars in the women's division down there. She was only there in NXT for only 2 months between May and June just now, and she only faced 2 people. In terms of having, I remember Ricardo, you said that Io Shirai became even a bigger star now than she was before. For that, Io Shirai was still a talking star even before Charlotte was even there. We could all agree on that. We knew from the very beginning that Charlotte was not going to stay in NXT for that long, especially when she was champion. We could agree on that one too. So I'm with Abba on this one that she did not elevate any stars as well as Tara.
Okay, Thank you for repeating everything that Abba and Tara just said. Anyway, as I was going to say, let me ask Abba and Tara a question in terms of not elevating, in terms of Charlotte not elevating stars. Who elevated Io Shirai if it wasn't for Charlotte?
She elevated herself, my guy.
She
No.
did.
No, listen to me. That's not my point. My point is, when you're in a rivalry or when you're working with someone, you have to work with that person to elevate each other. Nobody did that with Io Shirai. Not one.
What are you talking about, dude?
No.
Wait.
Did Rhea Ripley elevate Io Shirai? No.
They never had a proper feud.
Hold on,
They never
it
had a
doesn't
feud
matter.
one-on-one.
It don't matter. Hold on. It don't matter. Nobody, not a single soul, elevated Io Shirai up to this level until
Dude, Io
Charlotte got it.
She elevated herself.
Dude,
No.
Io Shirai elevated herself
She
after she
elevated
turned
herself.
heel.
What the fuck
She
you
became the
talking
best
about?
thing in NXT.
There
was no one in particular.
Hold on.
Let's get this under control, okay?
What I'm saying
Hold on.
is, what I'm
Go ahead,
saying
go ahead.
is that, like, I feel like Io Shirai never got this more shine than before until until Charlotte got there. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you're
Because,
not
like,
wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
You're not wrong, but here's where I think you lost me too, right? Io Shirai was already established as a dominant, well, as a star, really.
But she was never champion.
Charlotte, right? Exactly. But listen, if you're a female competitor and you want to beat someone, it's Charlotte Flair you want to beat. Okay.
Yes.
If you have Charlotte Flair's, if you have a notch under your belt and it's against Charlotte Flair, that's pretty good. Okay.
I didn't get that.
Look, I just want to say,
Rhea ain't Charlotte.
ain't nobody said that the female in the NXT division need to be stars. They're already stars. Okay. They are already stars. NXT women's division does not need to create new stars. That's my main focal point here. Okay. Charlotte inserted herself, right, and then it made like an already stacked division become even more stacked. Okay, that's not even what my main point was. My main point was everybody's gonna step up to her.
Yes.
Okay, and it happened. Everybody stepped the fuck up.
Bianca did that.
Bianca's not in NXT.
No.
When she was there.
She was there.
Well,
Bianca did that.
Yeah.
Mia Yim to a lesser degree did that.
No, she did that.
Yeah, no, I'm saying yeah.
I don't care about Mia Yim anymore.
Rhea Ripley, it
doesn't matter if you do or
doesn't
not.
matter. Rhea Ripley
But
did
she did.
that, and Io Shirai did that when Charlotte was there.
That's what I said months ago.
They all stepped up.
When she's in there, when Charlotte Flair is in there, there's absolutely no way these females are going to step down. You're going to step up.
Exactly.
Okay.
And whoever beats her, that's the new dog in town. Like that's the
And
person.
Charlotte.
But no one beats Charlotte. That's the thing.
No
Well,
one
she
beats
lost.
Charlotte. No one gives
Well,
a
she
shit
lost.
about the performance
Well, she
that
just lost.
they put
She
in.
lost.
But she didn't
lost.
get the pin, so she didn't technically lose. So it's kind of just like
But
like a
an
safety
L's
thing.
an
Like
L,
she
though.
didn't
It's open
technically
door,
beat her.
guys. It's open. Charlotte left, and Charlotte's not in NXT anymore. She's back on the main roster. There's been no real payoff.
My point of view is that did she do what they initially intend for her to do? I knew she wasn't going to be there for that long, so I knew it was going to be a fail from the beginning. That's number one. Number
Yeah.
two,
How's that a fail if she's
I
not
think-
there for
It
long?
wasn't a fail. Everyone stepped up.
She didn't. Well, hold up.
it was a
Tara,
fail because
Tara,
now that she's out of the equation, it's kind of just like, okay,
Look. What did you?
Now what?
Okay. So let me ask you a question then. What would you have her do? Dominate the whole fucking division? No, absolutely not.
she was
You
supposed to
called it-
stay
Listen,
there.
Charlotte is
Right.
Teflon.
But hold up.
Charlotte is Teflon. She's bulletproof.
Okay, so you called it from day one, right? Saying that, listen, if she's there for a lengthy period of time, she's just going to run through the whole division. I'm talking about you, Tara. She's just going to run through the whole division and bury everybody, and that's not what you want. So, Tara, you got what you want. Okay, she was in there. She dominated for the time that she was in there. She lost her title, and now she's leaving. So, what's the discussion here?
No, but that's what I'm saying. It didn't really do much because
It didn't elevate shit,
okay,
dude.
you're saying that they stepped up, but it's like I felt like they could have had that same energy regardless.
No. No, you're wrong.
Charlotte didn't bring it out of them.
The only reason.
So let me ask you a question. If Rhea Ripley was still champion, you think anybody else would step up?
No one would give a shit.
No one would give a damn about stepping up.
Don't even lie. Rhea Ripley as
Okay,
the
reason why the way that you guys are saying this whole step up thing, you're saying it like they had it in their options to do that. I feel like at the end of the day, we all know WWE controls everything down to the T. This step up isn't a personal choice. I'm pretty sure if I have the choice to be a champion and I'm a wrestler, I'm going to be freaking stepping up. But however, if I'm not given the opportunity, I'm not going to be freaking stepping up because I'm not given the opportunity.
Right.
With Charlotte Flair around, they just kind of made it seem like that, you know, these women are stepping up or whatever. I will give it that it was kind of like a blessing in disguise. Even though it didn't do what they intended it to do, it worked out because honestly, during this quarantine, without Charlotte Flair, they would have done horrible.
Exactly.
Like, horrible. It worked out because of the quarantine, but didn't work out because of the intended purpose.
It could have worked out without the quarantine. That's why I said
yes or no. Yes and no, because it didn't. It didn't, because Charlotte Flair being there for like 3 months is literally nothing. Having she had no matches. She barely had any matches.
Hold up. So you mean to tell me even without the quarantine, it still wouldn't work?
No, if it wasn't for the quarantine,
how would that?
She would have
that
had
would
no
make
purpose.
a lick of difference because no one is fucking elevated at the end of the day.
There's no one going against her.
Doesn't matter.
No one saying, I fought Charlotte Flair, I am amazing.
It's not the GOAT's job to elevate you. You're supposed to come up to her level. And that's what I'm saying.
No one got to her level because no one beat her. All she did was just go down there and just speak on the mic, and that was it.
The way history remembers it, Charlotte Flair lost her title. Okay?
She just took an L.
She did not take that L personally.
Get out of here with that. What are you talking
if you did not pin me, you just pinned the next bitch over. You didn't beat me.
I'm sorry. Triple threat rules.
It's a triple threat.
No, y'all are just saying that to excuse it, but y'all need to take accountability and say that was trash. It didn't do anything.
Look, I've been on the record saying that Charlotte should have taken the pin, right? But in terms of the way it looks, it was all because of the optics, and they didn't want her taking that L.
And then she couldn't have taken that L because she's in the main roster.
God forbid she takes a loss, right? Guys, she's bulletproof.
Exactly. Right, she's the GOAT. Right, exactly.
She could be pinned for the next year, and she would still not lose much in the way of momentum.
I think you know what I said from the beginning, and I was so correct about. They booked her wrong throughout NXT, and that's what made it fail. And I knew that's what was going to be making it fail. But you guys had too much faith in Triple H, and that's where the ball dropped.
Yeah, I think it's time to reevaluate how much pull Triple H actually has in there, because it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect.
It could have been executed a lot better, but she held it down during quarantine. But however, the intended purpose, they didn't reach the mark.
How much can you do? How much can you do with like 3 weeks worth of that's how much she was in there. Like you can't do much with that. So she wasn't there long. But I feel like
it was doomed from the beginning.
But hold up. We were setting the expectations, right?
Yeah.
So according to our expectations, right, it may not have been what we thought it was. Okay, but now
it reached my expectations. I knew it was going to be a fail.
All right, so it reached your expectations, okay? But my thing is, from what she got to work with, it worked. Okay? In the amount of time that she worked in there, how so? Because, well, guess what? The only thing we were talking about is Charlotte Flair in NXT.
4 weeks. For weeks. We talked
That's
about
the only thing we were
for
talking
weeks.
about. And we're still talking about it right now. So what's up?
That didn't really do much. Like it did. It brought eyes to just Charlotte Flair. Like, let me tell you why. Who else did we talk about aside from Charlotte Flair? We barely talk about Io Shirai. We barely talk about Rhea Ripley. Her whole purpose of being there was to create them on her level,
Listen,
don't you think
we
she
talked
did
about
that
Charlotte
purpose
Flair. We talked about Charlotte.
If I'm saying if she did what she intended was to put them on her level, don't you think they would have been an essential part of our conversations throughout the weeks?
Yes,
But
I
they
agree.
weren't.
Hold
And
on.
adding to that, do you think they're going to be an essential part of our conversations moving forward now that Charlotte left? No, because they haven't been
Because they're
elevated.
relevant.
They're relevant.
They haven't been
relevant.
elevated. What are you talking about?
Listen, they're irrelevant because that's
right.
that right. That's the thing. But y'all are sitting here acting like it's Charlotte's Flair job to fucking make you. No, it's not.
We didn't say that. You
Okay,
did.
okay, no,
We
no,
know
no,
what
no,
I said.
no,
You
no,
said
no,
it
no,
was
no,
her
no,
job
no,
to bring them to her level, and
No,
I end
no,
quote.
no, no.
Cardo,
I said no.
6:13.
I said, listen, Ricardo said that, fine. Okay, but I said, I personally said, it's your job to step up. Charlotte Flair doesn't step down to help you get up. No, that ain't how it works.
No one's saying that.
The core of the question is, did
it help?
Did it help? Did
We
them
said
help?
yes.
Hold up.
being there
Did it?
to make
Okay.
step up, make them relevant?
Okay. Did it help? Did it help the whole division?
Did it help? Did it help it make? Did them stepping up make them relevant to you?
The NXT, I think it made the NXT brand relevant because they were in the news every fucking week. But other than that, not really. And that's hold up, and that's just due to the fact that she wasn't there long enough to even have a fucking impact.
But
So
let's
you're-
be honest, we all knew it was on bot time, and that's the point. And that's why I said
it was,
yes,
but it should have been longer than this.
because
I thought.
I said it was a yes and a no for me because it didn't do what they intended it to do, but it did. But it worked out for them because it helped them during this quarantine.
Listen, they were in the news every week. That's a win for me, and their ratings were steady when she was.
But that's what I'm saying.
Period.
It helped during the quarantine. It worked out for an unintended purpose. That's why I say yes and a no.
Honestly, I think the intended purpose was just to get more eyes on NXT, and it did just that.
Exactly.
Not enough to justify it, though. I'm sorry.
Listen,
I'm looking
enough to
at the ratings
justify.
right now.
Hold up. Enough to justify. Hold up. Enough to justify. The ratings being up or steady for a couple of weeks when she was there. Yes, it was.
Listen, you can't listen. You can't sit here and tell me that Charlotte not being there would have drastically brought down the ratings. I don't think so. I don't buy that for a second.
Yes, it
I
would.
don't buy that for a second.
Yes, it would.
I don't buy that for a second because I'm
Bro.
looking at the ratings right now.
Wait,
They
wait,
are way
Abba,
too
let me
steady
ask you a
for me to.
question.
What?
Let me ask you a question. So if Charlotte isn't there, right, and you got Adam, you got all your main event guys like an Adam Cole and whatnot. Half the time he's doing fucking Zoom calls on TV doing fucking promos instead of being his ass there. You mean to tell me with a straight face that without Charlotte, the NXT brand would still be okay?
Yo, this dude doesn't know what he's talking about, man.
Are you serious?
I can't.
I know
Let's
exactly.
go to the next
I know
topic.
damn well what I'm talking about.
Let's go to the next topic, man. I
What?
can't, man. Are you kidding me?
Fine, back out. Let's go.
Are you kidding me, man?
Next topic.
Bro, are you kidding me?
I know he did not just say that, man.
I know he didn't.
He's just
You
kidding.
know better.
He's just kidding, man. He doesn't mean what he doesn't mean that specific statement. He doesn't mean it. He doesn't mean it.
Oh boy. Okay.
I don't know, you guys. I think you guys need to put your fangirling down and just kind of analyze the facts on
Guys,
what
our job is to bring you down to earth with the situation.
We did
We were
analyze
trying
the
to
facts.
bring.
We did analyze the facts. We talked about on what she did and how she elevated certain females on the brand and brought more eyes to NXT. We did that.
I mean,
they didn't. Kenny just said that she didn't elevate people.
Kenny just said she did not elevate anything down there.
right?
She
Because of the time. Like, you can't elevate people in like 4 weeks.
But
like
that's
you know?
the point. Like, if she was on bot time, like just that amount of time.
Right, but we didn't know that from the start.
Did it make sense?
We
No.
thought she would have been there for at the very least 3 to 4 months.
But
That's
that's my
enough
point.
time.
Like, did it
But
make
she wasn't.
sense? Like, did that make sense? Did their idea of that make sense? And that is why it's a no.
The answer for me is no too.
But
Yeah.
yes,
You're not
it
changing my mind.
worked out because of this
It worked
whole
out.
quarantine. It worked out because of that. But however, as far as what her intentions was, what they intended for her to be there for 1-2 months and to elevate the whole roster, no, it did not do that. Their
It did not
intention
work.
No, it
was
didn't.
wrong.
It didn't.
was
It didn't
false.
elevate the roster in any way, shape, or form. But for what it is, it worked. It worked. I mean,
It worked
I
because
feel like it
of
worked
quarantine.
because it brought more attention to NXT. That's why I feel like it worked.
That's why I said it was a yes and a no for me.
this is all about AEW, by the way, indirectly. It's all about AEW because they wanted to bring attention away from AEW. That's why they put her on there. It didn't beat AEW when she was there, but it got more eyes on the product. Like I can't say, oh yeah, like Charlotte being on NXT didn't
You know
work.
why
What?
I think
No.
it brought more eyes? It brought more eyes because people thought, you guys thought, and they were too trusting of Triple
Right.
H.
A diversion.
Like,
They
it's a
created
knock
a
on Triple
diversion.
H.
I can't. To
Listen.
be fair, I can't say I blame them. I mean,
They-
Triple H has
exactly. I
really
can't.
But
I
like,
can't
highlighted
blame
good
them.
with these
all
NXT
in
shows.
all,
It worked.
These
I
past 2
don't
years.
think it really there was nothing that I was like, oh, this is fire. Let me see this. Like,
But Charlotte notwithstanding, that's happening with the whole brand as a whole. You know what I mean? And that's the state of the NXT
another
roster right
thing-
now.
Another thing, just to add to this, because I'm looking at news right now, there has been talk of possibly using talent from Raw or SmackDown to go to NXT
There we
to
go.
help boost ratings. But I would say, in my opinion, you should use like talent like for my opinion, I think you could put Cesaro back in NXT. You can put Shinsuke back in NXT just to zhuzh it up a little bit. Or hell,
Yeah.
I'm throwing a curveball. Kevin Owens in NXT. Because for NXT, when Kevin Owens came to NXT, he didn't last that long.
I would love that. I would love
Imagine Kevin Owens against Adam Cole one-on-one for the NXT title.
There's your interest.
That's a takeover match quality right there. And the fact the story is there because Cole and Owens got history together. And they could bring it up, just like how they did Owens and Zayn.
Well, in terms of NXT, like I'm pretty confident they're like Triple H might have to do that for the rest of the year, arguably, because of
Wait, hold on. I won't say for the rest of the year.
no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said arguably. That's why I said arguably, because like they're NXT's in a state of flux right now due to the lack of contenders for 2 titles that we just discussed, NXT and North American. We just discussed 2 divisions that's going downhill. So if they're gonna like, that's what I'm saying. Arguably, they might have to do that for possibly the rest of the year due to the lack of contenders that they have. They have severely lack of contenders for both divisions.
I would say use former NXT talent. Like, use former NXT talent. For example, Bobby Roode should have never left NXT. Let's be real. Like, Bobby Roode, Cesaro. I could put, like, if he wasn't U.S. champion right now, I'll put Apollo Crews back down in NXT.
Oh, I wouldn't. Stay in the main roster. I wouldn't do that.
Why? Why?
And he stayed the same. He's been staying the same like ever since. Like,
And he's now being pushed for the first time in 5 years of being in the main roster.
but you just mentioned news that he might get pushed back to where he was before, due to Bruce Pritchard. Exactly.
I have a question for you guys. Do you think NXT is slowly going down the drain because of it getting like kind of like a main roster kind of feeling to it now that
Yes.
it's part of the main thing?
They signed their death warrant when
the 2
they
hours.
when they went 2 hours. So
Yes.
it was kind of like that. Yeah.
I personally feel like that is being, it doesn't matter who they bring from. I feel like that's why it goes back to my point from the beginning that I said, I don't know how I feel about main roster touching NXT, because I feel like the more that main roster touches NXT, the more they're going to try to warp it into something that's main roster-esque.
The influence.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
That's your point.
And this is what I am seeing right now. There is no way, and that's why I said they would never give up their main stars to go to NXT without some strings attached.
Yeah.
Now it's all coming out now. Ha ha.
And
I'm saying,
I mean, Charlotte was
it
never
doesn't make
really
sense.
dominant for that long anyway. So but I am leaning towards what you're saying when in terms of, you know, like there's nobody that they can really bring to make them feel like they're back on track again, because I mean,
Yeah.
It's not going to be, it's not Triple H running everything.
right. I mean, because yeah, there's a 2-hour show now, so like it's out of his hands, and I understand that, but God,
Like,
man,
you're not
like
going to get the same matches that you intended from old shows. It's going to be watered down.
of course,
Extremely.
of course. Yeah, rest in peace NXT from what year to 2020? What does a tombstone read on that one?
I would say 2019.
No, don't you
Yeah,
mean 2012 to
I would say
2020?
2012 to 2019.
2012 to, wait, huh?
2019
NXT died last year.
Whatever. NXT just isn't the same. We can all agree on that.
It's not the same.
And the thing is, like, everything is fixable. Like, this could be fixable 100%. Like, we just have to.
No, it's not. I don't know about that. I don't
How can
know.
it be fixed? Hold up. How can it be fixed, Richard?
No, I'm saying, like, what I mean by that is that it could be fixed. I don't know how it could be fixed, but it could be fixed. Like, hopefully sooner than later.
Wait, so how can you say it could be fixed if you don't know how it could be fixed? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
No, I'm saying.
Man. Well,
bro, don't say it could be fixed without giving an
this
answer.
is the way it can be fixed. Let me help Rich out. Okay, this is the way it can be fixed. If you had a time machine and you go back to, or you have a rewind button and you go back, or fuck it, call Doctor Strange and have him use a time stone and then rewind time back to the way it was, and then stop Vince from signing over that death warrant to the USA Network so that they can get NXT on TV.
If only that was possible.
That's how you can fix it.
The moment it came out of Triple H's hands is the moment
It's doomed to fail.
yes.
And onto network television and all the executives there, yeah. That was the death warrant for them.
So, guys, a moment of silence for the death of NXT. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
I just wanted to say I knew when it was dying.
We just said a moment of silence. That's not a moment of silence.
I was mourning along. I mourned it already.
No. You see, you just ruined it.
Y'all just ruined your goodbyes. Y'all could have said goodbye while it was still good.
Nah, go ahead, Abba. Let's go. Let's move on.
Okay. WWE will be airing their. Oh my god. Yeah, took the wind out of us, these debates. WWE will be airing their Backlash event tomorrow night from their Performance Center. I can't say I'm all that hyped up for the shelves. There's just not a whole lot to get excited about with the card. But we're just going to run through these, give our thoughts on each of these matches, and then just move along. Apollo Crews against.
Actually, before we move on, Rich, you're gonna do me a favor and just post the predictions on our Instagram page.
Yeah, I'll post a post about Backlash tomorrow, and you could give your thoughts about who's gonna win each match for tomorrow's event.
Yeah, go ahead, Abba.
That will be today.
Yeah, give our listeners a chance to voice their opinions as well. But we have Apollo Crews against Andrade Cien Almas for the U.S. Championship. Apollo Crews captured the title after beating Almas for it on Raw a few weeks ago. Not that I'm not happy for the guy, as it seemed like a legit happy moment that meant a lot to the guy, but it's just difficult to not get interested, knowing the treatment we've seen an ultra-talented guy like Apollo be given with the company at this point. Honestly, I say the escalation between the tensions between Almas and Angel Garza, who they've had issues with as of late, it will escalate here, as Apollo will retain the title after interference from Garza costs Andrade the match, and it will lead to a match between those two, which should be pretty damn good. So I got Apollo to win here.
I have Apollo retaining.
I have Apollo retaining. It would definitely be better for Andrade to have another kind of feud, but I mean, Apollo.
Yeah. We got Jeff Hardy going 1-on-1 against Sheamus. Hardy has beaten Sheamus previously on SmackDown as one of the first round matches towards the IC Championship tournament, which, side note, the fact that you didn't have a match like AJ Styles against Daniel Bryan on the Backlash show and decided to put it on SmackDown last night instead, it wasn't too smart of a move. Like, I get if you wanted to bring more eyes towards the SmackDown product, like, I guess, but it would have been best suited for Backlash. And honestly, well, I was proven right on that, as they had an excellent match last night over the IC title.
That match was excellent.
Yep, excellent indeed. So this feud has actually been going on for a few months now, culminating in that angle they did where Jeff ran over Elias and had a car accident, selling the point that he was intoxicated throughout. You know, playing off the real-life issues that he has had to go through, even as recently as last year.
I want to say something about that.
All right, go ahead, man.
I do not like what WWE is doing with Jeff Hardy.
Really?
I do not like it at all.
I'm with Ricardo on this one.
So you're saying the feud itself with Sheamus, or
no?
just that
I'm talking about the way they're
angle?
treating Jeff Hardy.
Okay.
The way they're treating Jeff Hardy. The way, like, you know, like fucking running over like Elias, what you just said, or getting arrested, shit like that. Like, you're like bullshitting his name. Like, don't disrespect him like that. You can't come out on the WWE network saying the redemption of Jeff Hardy is some bullshit and use his past progressions of what happened to him with the law into WWE. That's fucked up. You don't do that. Like, they're disrespecting Jeff Hardy's name.
Listen. Get with the fucking program. Okay.
Nah, I
They listen. They do this. Yeah. They do this all the time. Get over it.
This ain't
Nothing new. Okay.
Nah, that ain't cool, man.
Listen, Ricardo, I get what you're saying. It is tasteless to an extent for me, but hey, as long as WWE asked him and Hardy was okay with doing it, I have no problem with it. As for who's winning here,
I think okay for WWE to do this. Like,
so there you go.
He gave the okay to do this.
That's all that matters at the end of the day. If they didn't ask for his approval, then that would be another issue entirely. But they did. And as for who is winning here, I think Sheamus is picking up the win.
I'm picking Sheamus.
All right.
Jeez, I really don't care about this event. We'll continue.
Yeah. We got Bayley and Sasha Banks defending their women's tag team titles against Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss against Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. I got Bayley and Sasha Banks to retain the titles and win here. They just won them. I don't see a title change happening until just before SummerSlam, where that will hopefully culminate in tensions between the two resurfacing again. And that will lead to a proper title match culminating at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's title.
I do see them retaining, and it's been announced on Wednesday from NXT that the winners of the triple threat tag match, they're going down to NXT to defend the titles against Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. I don't care about this match either. I just want the fans to come back as soon as possible. But I got Bayley and Banks to win this match.
You want the fans to come back as soon as possible so they can just shit on this match? Yeah, me too.
No.
But
I'm talking about fans in NXT.
Right.
Watching this match.
Yeah, exactly. Shit all over it. But anyway, before I leave, I got Bayley and Becky. Well, not Becky.
Sasha.
Banks. Yeah, Bayley and Banks winning. Okay, this is how much I don't give a shit about the match. But anyway, I'll see y'all later.
All right. See you, dude. Okay, after that we have Asuka and Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. Asuka's first challenge since becoming the champion after Becky Lynch relinquished it and gave the title to her, and her going away due to her pregnancy. To say that she has been kept strong consistently would not be accurate at all. I don't know what their thinking was behind having Charlotte pin her on Raw this past week, as she has. As speaking of Charlotte, she's back in the conversation. She has nothing going on tomorrow's show. There was no point in doing that heading into a title match and devaluing the champions in a way. And Nia Jax, as for her, we said our piece on her a few weeks back. Get her the hell away from a wrestling ring and other wrestlers for the sake of their health. And as for who I'm picking here, Asuka should not be losing her title so soon, so she is my pick to win.
Asuka's winning.
Yeah, we have Braun Strowman defending the Universal title against John Morrison and The Miz in a handicap match. The definition of a filler match for a world championship. They apparently got nobody better in their singles division on SmackDown than one of their tag teams to face the champion at this event. You know, but it's just really stupid. But Braun Strowman's retaining. Simple as that.
I don't see, I think John Morrison winning is like so stupid.
It really is. Like a tag team holding the titles, co-champions, no thanks.
It's so weird. They have like so much people, like so much talent. Like why?
Exactly.
But continue.
Ridiculous, yeah. We got Edge against Randy Orton. This is a continuation of their feud heading into WrestleMania back in April, where Edge beat Orton decisively in a last man standing match. The story this time is that Orton believes that Edge does not have it in him anymore to have a wrestling match, as his body can't handle it for any longer. Randy says to prove him wrong, he's got to beat him in one. So that's what we have here. And cue the unnecessarily disgusting tagline that WWE is using to hype this match, the greatest wrestling match of all time, which both Edge and Randy Orton have openly mocked about on social media, and for good reason. I don't blame them at all for that.
Last night on SmackDown, Bryan and Styles gave us one of the greatest wrestling matches ever. Mind you, this is not on a pay-per-view. Let that be clear.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe we just answered our own question as to why Styles and Bryan aren't booked for Backlash.
Seriously.
They're afraid that they would go on to have an infinitely better match than these two, and so they
like
can't
Ricardo,
use that.
I know you didn't watch yesterday, but
Continue. No.
Ricardo, I know you didn't watch yesterday, but I strongly advise you to seriously watch that match.
Honestly, I love Edge. Like, I am a diehard Edge fan, but this match, I am not looking forward to it. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know
There's
what
just
the
no
hell.
intrigue going into it. We saw the aftermath of how their first match went down at Mania, of all places. It's not going to be interesting in the slightest. But yeah, believe it or not, I actually do got Randy Orton to win here. I think they don't want to have Orton lose twice in a row in this feud, and so he wins here, tying the two one apiece. And if they do this, they're probably going to do a third match with the two, possibly at SummerSlam.
They better not. I swear to God.
I hope not either, but I do see them. I do see them booking Randy Orton to win the match.
The thing is, if Randy wins, it's going to like literally tear down Edge. Like they should have.
It's not going to help him.
They should have gave Edge that win and then kept it pushing to have another feud.
Yeah, with like
even
Seth
he
Rollins or
said-
AJ.
Like even he said himself, he wants to build up new stars. Like he doesn't care about like the feud itself.
Yeah. But you guys have. What do you guys think? Who's going to win?
I'm gonna go with Edge only because if he loses, it's over.
Edge.
All right. And in the main event, we have Drew McIntyre against Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Lashley has been given something of a small resurgence lately, removing Lana from his side and adding MVP as his mouthpiece, who is a good talker, so that does always help. He has been looked like someone legit dominant the past month or so, but it's honestly hard to ignore how he has been booked like a non-threat before all this. I actually think this match will surprise a lot of people, as these two have had kick-ass matches in TNA a few years back. And these two are in much better roles now than they were just a few months ago, so I wouldn't necessarily sleep on this entirely. And McIntyre's been doing a great job so far as a top dog on Raw, so no reason for him to drop it here, so I have him to retain.
I see McIntyre retaining as well.
Yeah.
McIntyre, because Lashley, I'm sorry, does not bring a lot. He does not bring championship.
Cash in.
Yes.
He's not going to elevate the title anyway.
I don't get championship from him.
No, that's definitely true. But those are our thoughts on Backlash, and we are actually going to wrap it up there with episode 22 of Wrestling Hypothesis. Thank you guys so much for listening, as always. Like I said earlier, to further promote it, make sure you follow us on Instagram if you guys have an IG account to keep up to date with everything we have going on regarding the show. And we even post snippets of it, so you guys can like get little sound bites here and there of like how our show of like the quality of our show and all that. And or if you guys are just so curious to find out more about it. But we will be back with episode 23 of the Wrestling Hypothesis next Saturday. So until then, have a good one, guys.
Peace
Take
out,
care.
Girl Scouts.